Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Midzy69, and we are back with another tank review, and it is the T26 E4 Super Pershing. Now, a few people have been asking me for this video because I don't think I've ever done a Super Pershing review. I think I've done a video, but not an actual review. So it is an American Tier 8 medium premium tank that is in the tech tree available to buy. Now, this is a hit and miss. So a few people love this tank and a few people dislike the tank. Now, I love this tank. I think it's a great tank, and we're going to look at the stats and we're going to look at the armor profile itself. So it has a 90mm gun. DPM is really good, 2226, and it has 205 penetration, which you can see compared to just some of the tier 8 premiums. It's really good penetration, and it has 225 alpha. Rate of fire 9.89, and the reload 6.06. Shell velocity is 975, not so bad, but not the greatest. You've got the same as the M26 Pershing. So shell velocity is not too bad. Aim time 2.08, again, really good. Dispersion 0.344, again, really good. And it has 10 degrees of gun depression. Now, where this thing lacks is the speed. Its mobility isn't the greatest, but it isn't the worst. It still does 40 kilometers an hour, which is okay. But where this thing lies is the credits it makes and the armor profile. So the credit coefficient is 190%, and you can see compared to all these other premiums, you're looking at around 170 to 180%. This earned 190%, and it is in fact one of the highest in the game. Not the highest, but it is up there with the top. Now, the armor profile. The hull is 178mm, and your turret is 102. So let's just go into Blitzhanger and check the armor profile on there. So this is the armor on Blitzhanger, and all the pink or all the purplish color is all spaced armor, and it is an absolute beast. It really is. The front of the hull is all spaced, and it's pretty much impenetrable. You got the turret there, the gun mantlet is pretty much impenetrable. So when you are facing a tank, tier 7, tier 8, tier 9, it really doesn't matter. The only really weak point that they've got is the top of your hatch, above the gun. Now you can see right that hatch up the top, the big one, is 130mm effective, but it all depends how you're looking with the tank. If you're using the to 10 degrees of gun depression, it becomes thicker and thicker, where if you're looking down, it becomes a lot weaker. So the front, you always have to face the enemy. Now this tank is it really is a bully, and unlike some of the tanks like FCM or tanks like the T34-3, you have to get up close in this tank. You have to get up close, you have to bully, and you have to face the enemy. It is a frontline tank. It's not the best at long range. Well, it's not bad, but you don't really want to be playing this tank long range. It's a tank where you do get up close and personal and just bully the red tanks. What you don't want to do is start angling. So once you start angling, you will get the auto bounce zones on the tracks, but as soon as you over angle, you're going to get penned, and it's very easy to penetrate. You can see here the side of the turret 80, 77, the side of the tracks here 78. You're going to get penned all day long, and the rear you're going to get penned with your HE, and possibly even the back of your turret. So you have to face the enemy. You have to face all times, face the enemy. Try and not let them get around you, especially the quicker tanks, because you're not the quickest of tanks. But it is a tank where you get close and personal. And we've got 2 battles for you today, and both battles show just how strong this tank can actually be. So the first battle is played by myself, and it is a tier 7 battle on Black Goldville. Now, I've got the pretty camo, and the camo on this thing does look pretty good. And I got that in the containers, or in the Christmas fair. I did get this this camo, and it looks pretty good. And again, against tier 7s, especially the mediums, like the T62, lightweights, etc., they will have problems penning you. As I've said, the only thing, if you're facing them, the only thing they can shoot is that hatch on top of the turret. And if you're wiggling, there you go, but there's 1 bounce. If you're wiggling your turret, or if you're going side to side, that could be very, very difficult to get. So we've had 2 bounces from the Type 62, and your reload is really, really good. So it really does bully the mediums. And if you're alone, then yes, you will struggle. But if you've got backup protecting you, just like this Bulldog, eventually the mediums, they give up shooting you, so they start going for the other tank instead, because he's got no armor. So if you can get close to your team that's not as strong, like I said, with this Bulldog or other tanks, the enemy, if they're not great players, they will stop shooting at you and start going for the easier target. And with your great reload, you can then make them suffer because of that. So already, look, we've made the Type 62 run away. He can't do nothing to me. So he's run away. We've got the Tiger 2 here, who's decided to turn his turret. I'm not sure why. We've got the T44 that's still behind the rock, which he's going to be dealt with very, very soon. And there's the Tiger 2, there's the T44 gone, and it's now 5 against 4. Nice blind shot on the SU there. We knew exactly where he was, and we get rid of him. The lightweight, you can see, has run away, and it just leaves 2 tanks. We're going to leave him, and we're going to go for the Pershing. And you can see, no one really wanted to know us this battle. We had the Type 62, and other than that, no one wants to know you. And you'll get that quite a lot, especially in the tier 7s. They end up going for different tanks, because they can't be bothered to waste all their shells on you. And especially if they don't know where they're shooting, because if you're up against a player that's not that great, now the auto bounce zones, the spaced armor at the front doesn't appear red, so they just shoot. They shoot and they expect to penetrate you, but it doesn't happen. And it's only those that get to know the tank that they know where to shoot. And I don't mind coming up against one on the red team, because I know where to shoot it. And that battle, it was so easy. We got shot for like 3 times. We bounced all 3 times. We ended up full hit points, didn't lose any hit points, and we get a first class 108,000 credits, 3.5k damage. 108,000 credits for a battle that was as easy as that. You can see 3 hits with 3 without damage. Not a problem. Now, moving on to the second battle, we've got Diane, and he's going to drive it pretty not too aggressive. Again, it is a tier 7 battle, and the enemy have got 3 mediums. So he's going to drive up by the cap. Now, hold down in this thing, I probably wouldn't say it's the best way to play it, because as I've said, the only really weak point of your tank is that top of the turret. So if you hold down, it will make the team shoot that turret. And you don't want them to shoot the turret, because that is the only the weak point of your tank. Now you can see he's got T-44, he's got the Tiger P, he's got the Panther, and he's trying to go and face the tanks that he needs to face. Because as I've said, if you're angled or if you're turned away, you're not going to bounce anything. Like, at all. You don't bounce nothing in this tank when you're sideways or rear. But when you're facing the tanks, you're going to bounce like nearly everything that is coming your way. And you can see I love what he's doing here. And not many people actually do this. And when you do it, people start moaning. So what he's doing, he's capping. And he's not actually intending to cap. And he tells the team this. He's baiting them. He's baiting them to come out. So you can see all the tanks in town at the moment. There's loads of them. There's like 5 or 6 tanks all in town. But there's only 3 green tanks. So if the red team was to push, they would get absolutely destroyed. But because there's 2 tanks capping, they're on 70, they're on 80. That pulls the tanks from town to ignore the greens that are in town. And you can see here, look, they've now all faced this way. And that is great. That's just great play. And not many people actually do that. And there's nothing more annoying when you're in town and you've got 3 shots. You can shoot, you can grab your damage. You can get a lot of damage. But the cap is on 80 and no one is going towards it. And in this instant, everyone starts looking at cap. It gets to 80 and it drags the team out. And because of that, they managed to take out a couple of tanks. So it's now 5 against 4. Well, 3 against 4. And again, he's going to get back into that position where he's using the cap. You've got the Tiger P there that he's going to face. And you can see him directly facing the tank. And he's wiggling, wiggle. And the Tiger P just doesn't want to know. He wants to get rid of the one-shot louver that's behind. Great. That means Dian can start using his TPM and he can take him out. And again there we got the IS. He did penetrate him. Well, he hit his track. But it's just, he's done 2,400 damage. He's got 1 kill. The IS-6 now is pushing towards him. There's a T-44 that is a one-shot. And there is another tank. And unfortunately, there's another bounce. And the penetration isn't the greatest on this tank, but it is very, very good. And now he's taken that IS-6 down to a one-shot. But the louver makes a mistake and just starts poking out. And he suffers for it. So now it's 2 against 3. But he's still got hit points. He can still take 1 shot from a heavy. Well, he could take 2 shots from a heavy, but that will get dead. And there's still a T-44 that is a one-shot. And you can see he's hiding behind the building. He's using the building as cover. And he's directly facing the IS-6. And because of that, the IS-6 is not going to be able to pin him. And now he's got a KV-4 that is full hit points. And he's doing the right thing here. He's going for the one-shot. And unfortunately, the T-44 does manage to penetrate him. And there we go again. He hits the gun. Or he hits the gun mantlet. And he gets another bounce. And now he's just going to try and bully this KV-4. It's not the greatest tank for circling. I do admit that because it's not the quickest. But then the KV-4 isn't the quickest either. And you can see very troll bounces there. He needs to be careful because if he gets shot, he's a potential one shot to this KV-4. Most likely a 2-shot, but if he's got a high roll, he can potentially kill him in the 1 shot. And he's going to wait for him to shoot. Then he's going to poke out, and he could probably get 2 shots before that KV-4 reloads. But he doesn't want to risk it. And here, he doesn't want to poke out too far. And he's doing the right thing. He's hiding behind the rock. He's waiting for his teammate to come and get some shots. He's going to wait for the KV-4 to shoot. Then he's going to poke out. And KV-4 backs up. He had his rear out too far and angled too far. So now, luckily, he's on 5 HP. So he can't do nothing now. He needs to wait for that KV4 to shoot. And you can see the KV4, he wants to shoot the Super Pershing. He doesn't want to know the T69. And because the T69 is struggling to pen him, you can see there, all of his shots. But eventually he gets bored and he's got no choice but to shoot the T69. Which means Diane, or Diane, can poke out and he can get a shot into the KV4, putting him now down to a 1 shot, and the KV4 messes up. And he just gives him that opportunity to take him out. So a very, very good battle. 1250 block damage. He gets himself 4 kills and an ace battle. So that is the Super Pershing. Very good tank, and it's only 7,200 gold in the tech tree. That is cheap compared to all the tanks that is coming. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. That is the Super Pershing. It is really worth getting. And I will see